came back to win the championship. BP, take us through it.
Let's see if we can see what happened right there. The 15 of Jeffrey Bodine gets a bump from Lyndon Amick, and meanwhile these guys have to start backing off, and Steve Grissom, I guess, was the first guy to make serious contact. And the 24 car and the 3 car, I think Rick Crawford also was involved in the 14. Let's see. Here's Crawford coming the red truck. Bam! He hits the wall hard when he gets a blow from Jack Sprague. So it looks like 5 or 6 trucks involved.
And Benny, that's very, very hard. If you've been going down the freeway and the cars, 10 cars in front of you slow down, by the time it gets to you, there's just no way you can stop.
Lyndon Amick gets in the back of Jeffrey Bodine, and when he hits Jeffrey, he backs off, and Grissom then backs off, and the trucks behind him just cannot back off quickly enough. They run into Grissom, spin him, and once the first truck spins, it's on.
So we've done the replay from Mike Cope.
Never see Rick Crawford. He's going to be involved. And man, the sea parted for Mike Cope.
And now Steve Grissom, and he's not going to be as fortunate.
Not as fortunate. Right, he's going to run in the back of the 52, right in for the yellow truck. Lyndon Amick right here is going to make contact with, there we go. And when he jams on the brakes, Grissom, to avoid Lyndon Amick, he gets punted from behind, and the world goes in the spin cycle.
Mike Wallace, our race leader, has a problem. He is slow in turn number 3, heading towards pit lane. And Benny, it was all of a sudden. Let's take a look.
With his onboard going down in turn 1. And we've got a crash. This is a live shot. Randy Renfro almost goes over as he nails Bobby Hamilton.
Manages to get it under control. That's Bobby Hamilton. This all happened right down towards pit out.
Now Hamilton's going the wrong way on pit road, trying to get to pit road as Mike.
Doesn't take much. Let's go back, take another look. What happened?
Oh, we see the Kurt Busch get turned around when Bobby Hamilton backed off. Joe Ruttman ran in the back of him. Now watch this. These trucks almost get by, but Randy Renfro just gets clipped.
That's Randy Tolsma and also Marty Houston wrapped up in that. Don't know how much damage they had on their trucks. Let's go on board with Bobby Hamilton.
We're going to see Kurt Busch get turned sideways. And here's Hamilton. Watch Renfro. How about right here? Oh, man.
Kurt Busch in his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race barely made it through and made a nice save. He's still on the race course.
Oh, wow. I thought Renfro was going in for in down the front stretch.
That truck came very close to going over, Benny. But one thing that is promising with all the spinning, those trucks, that truck got up in the air from brake pedal. It's a lot easier to just touch that brake than let off the gas to slow that truck down. Just staying up high going in the corner. He's not following the truck in front of him. Don't know what's going on there.
Whoa! Oh, look out! We got trouble. This is going to hurt. Uh-oh. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Yep.
Keep your fingers crossed.
And it was so good for so long, and it turned into so bad so quickly.
We'll be back to see what happened. And as I said, keep your fingers crossed, folks. We're at Daytona. NASCAR officials on Jeffrey's condition. We will certainly not speculate. It was a horrific crash. Now, this is just a few seconds ago. There, look at Jeff. He's moving his arms. That is the best news we could give you. He's moving that bag, and So Jeffrey is alert, at least, and conscious and able to move. I don't know about you guys, but I'm breathing a little bit better right now.
Well, me too. That was a horrific looking wreck, but what a testament to the safety of these vehicles. Unbelievable, isn't it, Benny?
I'm telling you, folks, this is just about as bad a crash in a stock car as you'll ever see in your life. The truck just disintegrated, pieces going every place, but the roll cage stayed intact. Where the driver sits stayed intact and bounced across the racetrack.
Now, we want to show you just how much it came apart. That is the motor. And there is the play. Let's get an update on Jeffrey. What's the latest?
Well, Marty, right behind me, Glenn Johnson is just giving the information to the media here. He's the director of communications here at Daytona, and he tells us that Jeffrey was transported directly to Halifax Hospital, that he is semi-conscious, and that he is moving. He also mentioned that he has not said anything at this point, but that he is semi-conscious. So, first update on Jeffrey Bodine is very good news.
I'll tell you what, guys, looking at...
And Glenn Johnson is going to tell us now the update on Jeffrey.
Just to give you an update on Jeffrey Bodine, as we said earlier, he was transported directly. He was awake, alert, and talking as he got to Halifax Medical Center. It is apparent that he has probable, at this point in time, ankle injuries and one wrist injury. At this point in time, that's all the information we have. I will continue to provide you with updates, but he is awake and alert at the hospital.
Benny?
Okay, there we see on the about the 6th car back, Lyndon Amick on the bottom of the racetrack. That's Kurt Busch in the middle. Busch and the 46 of Rob Morgan make contact. Morgan goes up and hits Jeffrey Bodine. He gets in the fence, and there Jeffrey goes down the racetrack, and that's the 27 of Lonnie Rush there that comes along and hits Jeffrey Bodine. I do believe that was Lonnie Rush. No, maybe not. That might have been the 90 car of Lance Norrick that came along and hit Jeffrey Bodine.
This is real time.
Yeah, that definitely was the 90 car of Lance Norrick that ran into the Jeffrey Bodine car. Let's check Jeffrey Bodine's onboard camera. The Lineup's on board. And listen. And away it goes. One more angle.
But then, as you can see, when that truck goes up in the catch front, that's what starts it tumbling. And watch as the motor will go across the racetrack. There goes the motor tumbling down along the racetrack.
Well, look how high Jeffrey Bodine is. And right here along comes the 90. No, they stop in there.
Run more in the race today. Contact there. A lot of contact between Scott Riggs and Jack Sprague.
And yesterday, Jack Sprague involved in an incident gap. Now here's a spin on the racetrack. 3, 4, 5 trucks involved. One truck had already been involved on the bottom of the racetrack.
Travis Quaffle. Tough break for Travis.
There's the Cat Reynolds car, truck of Mike Addington, Travis Quaffle, who was so very good in testing here back last month. Michael Dockett. Bill?
You know, we were watching Scott. It looks like Ricky Hendrick got in the back of Jack Sprague, turned him outside into the outside, which got him into Scott Riggs, and that seized the whole field up. And I think that's what inevitably led to the other guys back there, because that got guys out of the throttle, you got guys in the throttle, and it just got jumbled up. You see the Brian Ruffner on the outside get hit in the back, and then Michael Docken gets turned around and get hit by the 10 truck.
Mark Petty, the 10 truck involved. Docken comes down across right in front of Travis Quaffle, who had nowhere to go. He was down on the bottom minding his own business. Rich Woodland became involved. David Starr, who had gone to the back. Starr's the 41 truck, the white truck in the middle of your screen spinning around. He had gone to the back of the starting grid because of an engine change. They had to change engines this morning.
Joe shut the door on him.
Terry Cook's in a good spot right now. Terry Cook has not...
Whoa.
Trouble in the back straightaway. Hard into the wall. Goes the 60 truck of Travis Quaffle. 5, 6, 7 trucks involved. Matt Crafton sliding sideways.
Lance Norrick in the 90 truck.
Heavy contact by Matt Crafton on the inside wall. Lance Norrick in the 90 is involved. There's Norrick's truck is rolling.
Billy Lester was involved in the 8 truck.
that big a crash right now. Don't have to worry about a race finishing under caution. Here's what happened a moment ago.
See, Jason Leffler for some reason came down away from the wall, got in the back of Travis Kvapil, turned him around. That's what started this accident. And the rest of these guys had absolutely nowhere to go. The smoke and trucks in the middle of the racetrack. And you see Rick Crawford flying through the infield. See if he can avoid Billy Lester there. He does, fortunately.
I just wonder if the 5 and the 2 got together just a little bit and turned the 2 down into it. Look at this again.
You're right, Mike. You might have. The 5 might have gotten to the left for a quarter of the 2, and that's what turned him down to the inside, because that's not like Jason Leffler, just a turn left right there. So I think Mike's probably right.
Not with all Jason's experience in a Winston Cup and Busch car. And a tough break. Travis Kvapil head on into the wall, but he drove it away. Here again, a different look.
Looks like they're
maybe a little help from behind or the side. I don't know.
Looked like Jason got a little bit loose. Here's watch Matt Crafton hit hard on the inside, very hard on the inside.
He was lucky to keep on his wheels there.
Great Menard, unfortunately, great Menard sponsorship for him here.
Barnes, his crew chief, spotting. Now you don't see that a lot, but that is probably one of the best spotters, if not the best, that I have ever had.
Oh, trouble right in front of him.
Top big one.
Here we go.
Ted Musgrave getting spun around.
And
he gets into the 1.
The 1 and the 2.
Ultra Motorsports team both getting taken up in that one.
Got both of them. There it was as a driver. I saw that happen in front of me, and I just locked up. I said, uh-oh.
Ted Musgrave having problems.
See what they need to get away from that thing. Musgrave said he cut a right rear tire. Okay, let's watch this.
See him up there.
Oh, look at that. The whole side come off of it.
Tire came apart.
That was a left rear.
Left rear came apart.
That was the whole tread coming out of the left rear that started that, what could have been a lot bigger, still a big wreck nonetheless.
If we can see that again, Ted Musgrave actually got into the side of somebody early on. As we look at it here again.
Watch it, starting to wiggle. There goes the whole carcass.
Oh, the 93.
That knocked off the fuel pump on the 93. The 2 right in the back, nowhere to go. The 54 involved. These guys behind doing a real good job to miss all this.
Especially with their eyes closed.
We're on board with Jason Leffler, and again, he got caught up in this one as we watch and listen.
There it goes. There goes Tire. That's what that looks like.
And now we ride with the cause of that accident.
Well, the tire was the cause, but the driver.
That's true. Ted Musgrave was the cause of, or the driver of the accident, as we take a look at Jason Leffler's number 2 now. Here we'll take a look at Ted Musgrave's replay and what happened as he was trying to hold on to that when the tire cut.
Listen to it. There it went.
And all those trucks, and he hits his teammate.
15 laps and 11 cars are out of this race. And there you see your lap leaders, Crawford and Hamilton, Kvapil, Edwards, Presley, all getting
in trouble.
The lead.
Trouble in the front straightaway. It's going to be a big one, I think.
And Carl Edwards.
It's Edwards who lost it.
Hold on, just keep your brakes locked. Keep them locked.
Good. Keep it locked down.
Okay?
Big hit.
You see his hands moving.
I'm fine.
He's fine. You hear him talking.
What let go there, but
fine but disappointed.
Well, Ted of him, you see him out there right there coming down the tri-oval. They do a little bump. It turns the front of the 99 down. Carl Edwards on a big hit to the wall right here. Real lucky these guys behind him. Look at the Dodge right there go by. Good
Matt
save by that.
Crafton down on the low side too.
That's a hit. Look at the back of that truck.
He made some comment about something let go. Look at him moving up into Presley.
They bumped just a little bit.
Yeah, what let go was all the downforce he had. That's worst scenario when you're up about a third of the way on the truck on the outside. Plus they did touch.
Here's a good look right here. The tri-oval doesn't have the banking at the corner. You see right here, they're just going to take the air off the back, and there it goes.
Oh my goodness, see how close he came to Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton actually spun a little bit.
Look at that truck. Whoever was in that truck there did a whale of a job.
And you know, it upset the 52 truck too, but he turned right to keep it straight.
We're on board with the number 50 of John Wood.
This will be in your face. Look right here in front of you. We'll see if they touch or not. If it's just air off the spoiler. We're going to get close. No touch. touch yet.
Now they're coming into the trioval right here. Again, Wallace on the right side and Carl Edwards getting very close. Oh, he gets spun around and jets up right behind John Wood.
They bumped 2 times right there. There's enough to upset it.
Here's Bobby Hamilton. Take a look at this. The square D dodge. And
whoa, buddy. And Bobby had to get into the wall to avoid him. He banged the wall pretty good there.
That was close.
Dorsey, that looked to me like both drivers showed a little bit of temper there.
Yeah, they were banging on each other. You saw it before they even got to the wreck. You know, they set it up coming out of the turn 4 area, and they set it up all the way down.
Carl Edwards letting everyone in the grandstand know.
Welcome back to Daytona. Rick Crawford just taking an unbelievable ride and coming to rest in the infield just in front of the grandstands. The caution comes out. The field slows down. Bill Lester still out in front of this pack. And Rick Crawford, the only truck being caught up in this. So it wasn't multiple trucks, but folks, we're seeing this truck moving and driving back out on the track. And you see the replay of this one, you won't believe it.
You can see the damage on the roof of that truck.
It turned over. I'm okay.
You heard Rick, he said it turned over, but I'm okay.
And you can hear the crowd screaming.
Take a look here what happens. He's right now, he's racing in the 4th position. He looks to the inside of Todd Bodine. Todd comes down the hill, forces him to the inside. The air gets underneath the truck, turns it over, 1 revolution, and then back on 4 wheels. What a ride.
What a ride. He needs to make sure he doesn't go too fast right now. He's got a flat right front tire. Check out this look. Todd just ping-ponging back and forth, Phil.
Yeah, he bounces off of that Terry Cook truck into Rick Crawford. You can see the tire mark on the right side. You see the wheel still spinning on Rick Crawford's truck while it's up in the air.
He hits the brakes there.
He was finally smart enough to let off. That's pretty. That's using your head. He's flipping over at Daytona and he let off the gas. I'm proud of him for that. He's going to have a flat right front tire. If he can nurse that thing back to the pits, he might be able to keep racing.
Let's take a ride with Terry Cook. Terry Cook was on the outside. He's the truck that Todd Bodine got into. You see, there's the contact, and Todd bounces off him into Rick Crawford.
Just 3 wide racing off the turn at Daytona. And these trucks are really unstable this year, Phil. They're a little bit loose, and so any turbulence at all could have kicked Todd Bodine's truck sideways, and he had to go somewhere. He went out, hit. Maybe you can't respect how scared I am.
There's Terry's record right there. Look at that. A 5th, a 9th, a 6th, a 6th, a 4th. And he's the only driver.
Oh, there we go.
Here's a problem. Kerry Earnhardt gets spun sideways. Problem stacking up behind him. Cars racing down pit road again. Chase Montgomery involved in this one. Regan Smith, Shiggy Hattori.
Todd Cleaver.
Problems again for Todd Cleaver. Brandon Witt makes it into the infield.
And here comes the trucks by that laid back. You see Jack Sprague, Steve Park, Casey Atwood. They all laid back. Bobby Hamilton.
Bobby Hamilton's just now getting to the crash scene, Phil. He's up in 1st gear, idling through.
Yeah, and a lot of the trucks that laid back with him went down pit road. Pretty good call to lay back here, wasn't it, Michael?
I don't see where it was the wrong thing to do. Knowing the history of this event, knowing what was going on in the front, Shiggy must have got his throttle stuck a little bit.
Here they are coming through turn number 4. See, Kerry's right on the bottom of the racetrack. He looks like he gets a little bit sideways right beside David Rudham. It didn't look like there was any contact. It looked like it just got loose on the inside. When you're on the inside of another truck, it robs that truck of air off the spoiler. It looks like it just got loose. Take another look.
They're side by side, and it's just almost impossible when you're driving that close together and you're trying to do it 3 wide to keep the thing going straight.
See Tracy, Matt Kraft on the 88 gets run into from behind, gets turned around. And watch these, there's Dennis Setzer, Chad Chaffa. They go down pit road at 180 miles an hour, just like Carl Edwards did last year, and he came back and won the race.
Are you okay?
Take a look at it at regular speed.
Doesn't look like anybody was hurt, Phil. That's the best part of it. They're all able to walk away or drive away.
Let's take a ride with Kerry Earnhardt. This is not going to be much fun. See Brandon Witt's truck on the hook. Here's Kerry on the inside. You heard him playing with the throttle even before he got sideways. So he obviously knew his truck was a little bit loose. And then when he kind of sucked up into the side of David Rudum and just pulled him around.
Let's see what Sensor sees. Look at this move.
Watch him go down pit road here. Wow. See all the trucks crashing in the background over on the racetrack. And Dennis is just idling down pit road about 140 miles an hour.
Whoa. Shiggy Hattori, that was at the end of that one. Regan Smith in the 19 just in front of him.
He may not have had any brakes. As much damage as Shiggy had to that truck.
That truck get the lead yet.
Whoa, with a lot of steering going on. Boy, Brendan Gaughan was really snatching on that steering wheel.
Still bouncing around.
Whoa, Brendan Gaughan.
There he goes, into the wall.
Brendan Gaughan up into the wall, and problems with Mike Skinner as well.
David Rudum is the first truck to get through there.
Most everybody else made it. Did Brendan have a flat, you think?
I'm not sure. I saw him doing a lot of steering with that truck.
It's a possibility that he got together with another truck and maybe had a flat.
See, Brendan, he's very, very close to the 5. That's when I looked down. I saw him doing a lot of steering. Just like, looks like he got a little bit loose there, Michael.
Yeah, I think he just lost the truck. He might have had a flat, though, Phil. You never know. Boy, Rudiman slipped through there, and Mike Skinner like the darn foot at the most, and he would have been clear.
Watch, look how close they get together side by side. Now Mike Skinner pulls up a little bit, and watch Brendan now. He's going to start getting a little bit loose. Almost they make a little bit of contact, and then he loses the back end, and then runs up and just clips Mike Skinner.
Looks a whole lot like the Kerry Earnhardt crash, doesn't it, Phil?
Sure
They get side by side, and Brendan just can't keep control of his truck.
Coming out of turn.
Here he is getting ready to battle for the win at Daytona.
Got a side-by-side battle for the lead. Whoa!
Problems early on. Chad Chaffin gets spun around and upside down. Chaffin back onto his wheels. And we were on board with Dennis Sensor.
Dennis made some contact. Looks like he was trying to bump draft him, and he got Chad turned around. There's Terry Cook after such a great effort. He was involved in that action a little bit. Another wild ride for Chad Chaffin, though, much like Rick Crawford's earlier today.
That's on the left front tire.
Let's
see what happened. Looks like bump drafting might be. Yeah, Dennis gave him a little shot.
Wow, completely over. Here goes Terry. Boy, Terry had a wild ride through the grass. He was fortunate that his truck stayed down. You see the roof flap just deploy.
Let's take another look at that one.
Bam, Dennis right there. Give him a little shot in the back and turn Chad's truck around and over, by the way.
Wow, what a view that was.
And hit on the left front wheel, so I'm sure some suspension damage to that, Ray.
Well, guys, they believe that the 30 truck can stay.
Here they are coming off turn number 2. See, Dennis is going to get in the back of Chad. You see Chad, it pushes him a little bit sideways. Then Dennis actually turns him around after Chad comes back to the bottom of the racetrack, and way up in the air he goes.
Here comes Terry Cook joining him for a slide through the grass.
It's like Robert Huffman might have gotten the back of Terry Cook. I see some damage to the front of that truck.
Oh, and it was a pileup behind him.
Yeah, once that bump drafting started going crazy, then they just bunched up from behind. Rudiman had nowhere to go, bumped into the 46. Just a good idea gone bad when the bump drafting that they were doing on the back straightaway knocked the 30 truck sideways.
We ride along with Dennis Sensor.
Bam, just hit him and got it wiggling. Now I bet you Dennis has hit somebody like that all night long and the truck never moved. You know, you don't know which way Chad had his wheels pointed, and Dennis must have hit him right at the wrong time. Dennis would never do something like that unless he had it calculated out, and for some reason it went wrong.
It looked like he hit him pretty square, but you know, these trucks are pretty light in the rear end right now. A lot of these trucks are complaining about being loose, but this slow motion here, you see, he looks like he hits him pretty square, but it looks like his bumper rides up underneath the back bumper of Chad Chaffin, and that may be why it turned him around. It might have picked the rear wheels off the ground, Michael. And then all 4 wheels were off the ground.
Yeah, it definitely eventually picked them off, didn't it?
He hit that left front very hard, so they're still checking on the suspension of that one.
Craven.
Hamilton with a good run, gets by Ricky Craven. They're lined up. Jimmy Spencer, Todd Bodine, Bobby Hamilton.
Look at Bobby move to the inside of Todd Bodine. They're lining up behind him. Matt Crafton, what a great run he has going in the 88 truck.
Jimmy Spencer getting out there a little bit far. They're going to be able to get a run on him.
Oh, it's not over. Bobby Hamilton unable to clear Papadine until just now.
Looks like he's got him cleared now. Look,
Here comes Ricky Craven back on the outside.
Way on the outside.
Almost into the wall. They're dicing and dancing again as they cross the start finish. And Bobby Hamilton makes the pass. And problems right as they go across the start finish line. Another big crash as they go across the start finish line, and the white flag had come out as they cross the start finish line. That will mean, I believe, Bobby Hamilton will win the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
I think you're exactly right.
Spencer in front of Bobby Hamilton by just about a half of a tenth of a second.
Yeah, that's not official. Now, they may have been celebrating, but we don't know who's going to be credited with this win.
What happened to Matt Crafton?
Matt Crafton gets on the inside.
Got loose and just turns right back up into this pack.
He's going to hit David Ruderman in the 17 truck. There's Jack Sprague. He gets hit into the outside wall.
And you see Bobby Hamilton and Jimmy Spencer were just side by side when that was all taking place.
Whatever NASCAR calls it won't be a mistake. They were
within 3 or 4 feet anyway, so it can go either way.
What happened?
Take another look. Looks like Matt just got a little bit loose. I don't think there was any contact from David Ruderman. Boy, they made some hard contact in the outside wall. Thank goodness for the safer barriers, Michael.
Well, when they had the crash, when the crash started, Spencer was ahead. But when does NASCAR, when they flip the light on, when they throw the flag, when does it happen? How do we know who won the race right now?
That is a uniform process that takes place. It is all done up in the press box. NASCAR has a button, and when the caution needs to come out, that button is pushed. And right when that button is pushed, the computer freezes the field according to the last loop that the trucks went across.
Well, I'm going to guess Spencer for the truck race. He was running second when he got crashed. So that just must be his motto. It's okay if you get crashed. Oh, no,
we got
look
a
at that
problem.
big
Boston
crash.
Reed, Mike Bliss, Bill Lester, Craig Kinzer trying to negotiate his way through. He's able to get through. That was Mike Bliss.
He says,
all right, Mike.
Doesn't look like Mike's truck's all that bad.
Well, a lot of damage to the right side. You can see the right rear wheel pretty plainly.
Yeah, Bill Lester got quite a bit of damage in that accident also. Mike's look back, Michael, on what happened. That's Mike Bliss on the inside, right beside of Jack Sprague. There's the 25. We just got a little bit loose. We've seen it happen. He got loose. And then when he tried to save it, drove down off the bank, came back up right in front of Boston Reed. Boston Reed had absolutely nowhere to go.
Not a place still. What a great job by Craig Kinzer in the 47 truck. Did you see him just chill out and slide through that mess? Not get any damage to that truck?
Kyle Krisloff doing the same thing in the number 15 just behind that 47 of Craig Kinzer.
He just got loose entering the corner when he came back up the racetrack right in front of Boston Reed.
Look at Kinzer. He bounces off the wall a little bit, but keeps his cool. Krisloff came in a little hot, but was able to get her woe down and dive under these cats. Mike just got loose underneath that other truck. We've seen it happen. It's what happened to Eric yesterday in practice.
There's another view of it. Just got a little bit loose. The transition, sometimes when you drive down the corner, you start turning and you don't catch all the bank right away, and it looked like that transition from the straightaway to the corner is where he lost the back end of that truck.
Right along with Dennis Setzer just behind this accident.
Come on, all clear, all clear.
What an unfortunate...
Caution has come out here at Daytona. This is our third caution of the night. This is just one of the trucks involved in a big crash. It didn't start out that big. Craig Kinzer looked as though he was just getting up against the wall, but we see Eric Almirola in the 75 stopped in the infield right now.
There's Almirola.
Cuts down the right front tire. That's Craig Kinzer.
Kinzer, I'm sorry.
47.
How did this happen?
There's Mike Wallace. Remember, we saw him running in the top 3 positions. There's the 15 of Kyle Krisloff.
He gets out without too much damage. I just don't understand. What? Oh, Joey Miller, bad crash. Look at the front of that truck, Phil.
Matt Crafton gets caught up by Brad Keselowski. You see the 75 of Eric Almirola go by already with some damage.
Take another look at this accident.
Oh, wow. Something happened to Mike Wallace, and he was slowing down.
No, that was in reaction to what had happened to the 47
down
truck.
because of the 47.
Let's go to pit road.
Wow. The 75 truck.
Ray.
All over
cover this bunch.
We're not going to miss anything. Let's see what happens. Skinner gets into the back of Mike Wallace.
Gets in the right rear corner and turns him up in the outside wall. Derek Cope, it looked like he got hit from behind by Todd Bodine. And I'm telling you, Michael, it looks like Todd Bodine is running fourth.
Take a look at this.
Gets hit by the 9, knocks him up into Johnny.
Look at these. They're 5 wide right now.
But the wreck didn't happen because of that.
That was Todd Bodine who got into the 40.
Todd Bodine got into the 40 of Derek Cope, just as the 5 of Mike Skinner got into the 15 of Mike Wallace.
I think Todd Bodine was 4th.
I think Todd Bodine finished 4th in this race.
Unbelievable. Todd Bodine getting penalized, goes all the way to the back, and then potentially could finish 4th in this race.
There's another shot here.
What about this glob? There's 2 things that happened. Todd Bodine turned the 40, and Mike Skinner turned the 15.
Totally separate. And those 2 incidents were totally separate within about 30 feet of each other.
And they did exactly the same thing. They got into the right rear quarter panel of the trucks they were racing.
Now, could that be, and we haven't even talked about the fact that Mark Martin has won this race, his 5th win, but could that be, I mean, can it be a penalty for Todd Bodine?
Well, it's the last lap. I don't think you'll see a penalty, but certainly over-aggressive driving by both those guys on the last lap.
Skinner and Bodine.
If there's such a thing as that, is there?
But we talked about it the whole race. These guys really used their heads this entire race. We got down to the very last lap here. Watch this. This is what Dennis Setzer saw here. They're 5 wide right in front of him.
But listen, Dennis, wow, did you see Derek Cope's truck?
Wow.
That looked like something from Twister.
Flying right next to him.
Watch this.
Take a look at this real time. Now they're coming down the backstretch.
They fan out. They're at least 5 wide right here. Mike Skinner's going to make some contact with Mike Wallace first.
Oh,
we broke the camera.
We'll have to get that fixed for tomorrow.
Thumper will take care of it.
Now we need to freeze it right there. Try to figure out who finished where.
And
NASCAR is doing exactly
will do that. NASCAR will do that. Remember, NASCAR will look at whatever they can available to them.
As they go down the backstretch.
Look at Todd Bodine right out against the wall.
Todd Bodine moved up. He made it into the top 10. He's running 3 wide.
Whoa, there they go.
There they go. Mike Wallace into the wall. And Derek Cope gets almost upside down into the wall. The caution is going to come out. The checkered is going to fly. Mark Martin out in front of the field as they come out of turn number 4. And Mark Martin will win at Talladega.
Yeah, the caution flag.
He was able to get to the checkered flag under caution. It's because of this. We ride along with Terry Cook. A little bump there on Brendan Gaughan. And then the melee happens in front of him. Talladega's first race ends under caution with Mark Martin winning.
Even though the guy gives you a break by letting off, and so Hornaday decides he's going to go to the bottom. Oh, we got a crash.
Joey Clanton has come. He tried to slow down to get onto pit road, and in doing so, he has caused a melee behind him.
That's Ken. Is that Ken Schrader? That's Ken Schrader just going out of our screen. There's Tyler Walker right there, the 36. There's Craig Kinzer, the 47, spinning around. Jason White had a good run going with his gunbroker.com Ford.
Basically, if you're running
top 15, see if we can take a look. There's Joey Clanton, the 09, slowing down. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. The 3 wide behind him.
Oh, the 63 truck just didn't get the memo, man.
He couldn't slow down as Joey Clanton was trying to get off the racetrack.
Joey was not off the racetrack yet. He was straddling the yellow line, and they came around there, and the 63,
Jason,
he probably concerned about the guy beside him and didn't see him. Here we go again.
He's driving through these guys to get, to get up there. His spotter should have said, he should have known a lap before the 09's got to pit. His spotter's got to tell him the 09's coming to pit road. He's on the bottom. Go high. And that was a communication problem. If he didn't hear that spotter, or the spotter didn't tell him, that's the spotter's fault.
A lot of times, don't you guys put your hands up in the air saying, hey guys, I've got to go in?
He's not going to see that. Down in the corner, it doesn't matter if he had both arms out the window, Rick. He can't see that. But what he has to have is communication from the top. We knew for 2 laps that the 09 had to pit, and that guy should never have been in this position.
There it is right there. He is coming down pit road, but the 63 of Jason White runs into him.
Nothing that the 09 did wrong. He was dead on the bottom, Phil.
And he was probably waving. But it's very difficult. The 63 of Jason White doesn't have that much experience here at this racetrack. It sounds like he didn't really have that much help maybe from up top.
He basically drove through and around the 00 to hit the 09. So
Sprague led us to the green flag initially, and then the problems early on for the DirecTV hot pass 46. Ooh, of Mike Wallace.
Good job by the field, working their way by Mike. He keeps it down out of traffic pretty much. So that's the first of several crashes we'll see right in the middle of the field where only one truck's involved.
Here's our outside pole sitter. Carl Edwards has a transmission problem, has to go behind the wall, loses 17 laps.
Then the big one, or pretty big one. The 09 of Joey Clanton was slowing to come in, and a lot of guys didn't understand that.
Yeah, Jason White, the 63, made some contact with him initially, and that caused this.
Watch this truck right in the middle of the pack again, and everybody skirts by. Carl Edwards does a great job there.
It's Terry Cook in the 59, and then the fire breaks out, but Terry's able to climb out of that truck and make his way back onto pit road.
Here Kelly Byers in the 21 and the 00 of A.J. Allmendinger get together. Kelly makes some pretty hard contact with the outside wall. Blake Bjorklund comes along, makes some contact with him, and then Mike Bliss, with nowhere to go, hits Blake.
Blake's first trip to Daytona, I think he did, and look at the momentum. Oh, and sideways.
Oh, back in the back. That's the 4 of Chase Miller. Chase Miller up on 2 wheels. A hard collision into the wall.
Hey guys, we just crashed.
Came down and made contact with a 75 of Dennis Setzer. He in turn ran into Brendan Gaughan. That's Brendan Gaughan, South Point Chevrolet right there. There's Cale Gale, Ron Hornaday's teammate in the RVs.com Chevrolet.
Cale Gale did not hit anything. He's going to take off. Brendan's truck's tore all
Yeah,
to
we're
pieces.
all right, guys.
Been racing as well. Both of their Dodges is now out of the race.
Chase just got a little bit loose. He was kind of in the middle, but look at Matt Crafton. You know he had nowhere to go. Look at that truck get up on 2 wheels.
Dennis Setzer also involved in that, the 75.
A.J. Allmendinger slipping by, and Darrell's truck there on the bottom. That Red Bull Toyota.
There's another view. He gets a little bit loose coming off of turn number 4, just past gate number 7.
That's when you know you're in trouble, when that thing hooks, Phil.
Yeah, watch him get up on 2 wheels. Actually, all 4 wheels off the ground. He makes a little bit of contact with Dennis Setzer. Dennis tries to avoid him, and in doing so, makes contact with Brendan Gaughan and puts him into the outside wall.
Chain reaction. We've seen it numerous times here at Daytona.
Right,
that camera,
right at our camera.
That camera is bad luck right there.
Look at that truck. It just slides up the hill, and he tries to pull it back down and overcorrects it. Brendan Gaughan with just no place to go. None of those guys, really.
I cannot believe that Matt Crafton did not run into that 4 of Chase Miller.
I promise you, somebody else that can't believe it's Matt Crafton, because it happened. It happened so.
A rub of some sort. Watch top of your screen there. It just took off to the right here, and that truck doesn't do that unless something breaks or a tire goes down. And poor Jason White in the gunbroker.com Dodge had absolutely nowhere to go. We've got 3 Dodges in the field, and 2 of them are taken out in this one accident. There's another view. You see the sparks and everything. That tire is already down, and Mike Bliss takes a hard turn to the wall.
That's why, as a race car driver, that's what you deal with. Jason's out there minding his own business, running along, but you know that disaster is lurking straight ahead. And in this case, he didn't know it was going to come out of left field and knock him into the wall. But darn, you seen this happen before? You got to be prepared and ready for it.
Yeah, but nothing he could do about that. It doesn't matter how prepared he would have been. He was not going to avoid that accident.
He did it. It's unavoidable accidents. You get in those every now and then. Watch how fast this truck goes to the right.
He never even had an opportunity to touch the brakes. It happened so fast. Got some trucks on the yellow line. Johnny went up there with him, and it's going to allow Mike Skinner to get a little momentum.
He's coming in the pit.
Oh, problems for Jack Sprague. He's going to slide in front of the field. Right into the trioval they go. Jack Sprague slides into the infield and catches about 3 or 4 trucks. One of those being the 33 of Ron Hornaday.
Ron Hornaday got caught. There's Eric Darnell, made hard contact with the inside wall.
The 6 of Travis Quapple's got big damage.
There's the 6 of Travis Quapple. A lot of good trucks involved here. Ron Hornaday definitely got a piece of that with a right rear corner.
I think that was I think that right front tire must have went down. He felt it going into turn 3 and just was trying to get to the pits and couldn't quite get there.
Look at all the damage to that Conway Toyota. And there's Ron Hornaday. The right rear, you see the rear fascia flapping a little bit. He got a lot of damage to that right rear corner. It's 200-mile-an-hour tape, so it should be okay. See Jack Sprague, he knows that something's wrong right
Watch right there. See the fire come out of exhaust. He let off right there, and Johnny just didn't know what was happening.
Look at Darnell going across and hitting the inside wall.
Yeah, and Jack turns right back in the middle of the pack there.
And then Hornaday just almost threw it.
Barely got clipped.
Was all the way down in the grass. Terry Cook A lot of damage to that Harris Trucking Toyota. Comes down and makes contact. You see the flames out of the exhaust pipes right there. Now it turns Jack right in front of the field.
What a helpless feeling for Jack Sprague, but fortunately he got banged around, but nothing ever hit him real solid, so he was able to walk away from that mess.
Jack Sprague starting on the outside of the front row. Let's ride along with Rick Crawford. He's 2 back from Jack.
You see how little Rick got out of the throttle. He made that initial contact with Johnny. Here's Dennis Setzer's on board. There's Travis Kvapil right in front of him. That's not going to be a good ride for Travis. Oh, nice choice. Nice choice by Dennis Setzer to turn hard left.
Watch the fire come out of the exhaust. See, he can't even see that. He has no idea what's fixing to happen.
I didn't see any wave, did you?
There it was.
There's the fire. That's just backing off the throttle. You're going to see that.
Let's go down trackside. Jack Sprague's with Adam Alexander.
Yeah. To hold it down. He wanted to hold it to the left as good as he could because he knew when he got to bouncing through those bumps, it was going to go out to the right, and there wasn't room for him to go out there. He forced it down to the left, and the thing about spun out with him.
Oh, there's the problem right there. Kyle Busch, Mike Skinner get into it. The big one happens behind him.
So Rick Crawford just could do. That's P.J. Jones right there, the 63 truck. That was on fire.
I can't believe how crazy they were.
Wow, that's
flames blowing.
That's P.J. Jones
over
right there.
the top of P.J. Jones's truck.
Looked like he already had the window net down. He's going to try to get to. There's Kyle Busch going through the infield. Chad Chaffin right behind P.J.
Did you see Rick Crawford slip through there?
Yeah, sure did. There's P.J. getting out. Great to see him got it out of that truck. There's John Wood. Brendan Gaughan with such a great run going early. Started way back. Had worked his way well into the top 10.
Not the start that Mike Skinner, I'm sure, was looking for the 2000.
At initial contact. See Kyle Busch, that's a black truck up on the outside. There's Mike Skinner on the inside of Brendan Gaughan. Kyle comes down. Now he's going to move to the inside to try to, well, you know, it's a little bit maybe Mike Skinner coming up, and Kyle could have come down a little bit, but one of those deals, and here we go, the carnage.
Well, did you see Mike come off the lap before? He fought that truck to keep it from going up the hill. He didn't have a choice. He couldn't turn left and get off of Kyle Busch, and when Kyle moved over, Mike already had it turned as hard as he could.
There's another view right here. You see Mike Skinner left of your screen. Kyle's going to come down a little bit to try to get by that number 8, and Mike Skinner looked like he just went up a little bit, and just enough to catch that left rear quarter of that 51 truck of Kyle Busch. This is a great view from the DirecTV blimp right here.
Oh, look at Chad Chaffin coming in there late, and John Wood too. All but had it missed. But Phil, no matter how slow you're going, you can't see through the smoke.
Now we can see here that they were going to run into somebody, but they can't do it from track level.
Yeah, you could see Skinner just pushed a little bit up off that corner, just like he had done off 4 the lap before, trying to hold it down. The thing just the front end got away from him, and Kyle changed lanes. If Kyle doesn't change lanes, Mike doesn't hit him. But Kyle figured it was fair to change lanes.
Yeah, Kyle was just running through the center. He wanted to move to the inside of Chad McCumbee, and unfortunately, when Mike Skinner eased up the racetrack a little bit, they made the contact, and this is what ensued.
Look at that violence. Parts and pieces flying, trucks on
at
fire.
Jack Sprague. Jack Sprague trying to make his way through there.
I tell you what, Rick Crawford came through right behind that 63 that was on fire. Amazing that he didn't hit anything.
Kyle Busch gets out of this deal free, too. He didn't hit anything either. He's fine.
That's going to keep it out of the inside wall. Going to do a couple 360s, and away he goes.
This is where we were riding along when this all happened.
Outside.
As Kyle came down the hill a little bit, Mike couldn't keep off of him.
Oh, big wreck.
There's Matt Crafton right behind Mike. You saw Brendan Gaughan for a moment.
Can't believe how crazy
There's
they were.
Jack Sprague making his way through there in the 2 truck.
Jack Sprague looks like he's got some damage to that nose, Phil.
Well, here's Ted Musgrave's view right here.
3 wide. Still 3 wide.
Teddy got a piece of that.
Yeah, big piece. That probably busted his radiator and tore his truck up quite a lot.
We're in it, guys. I can't tell.
Yeah, a lot of trucks involved in this incident.
Every now and then, out of everybody's mind right now. They're already 3 wide again.
Yeah, they're racing. They're racing.
And now there's early on 2. The 71 of Mike Bliss goes up the racetrack. He was hit. And now Colin Brown in the 6 is involved in this one.
There was contact with the 09 of Joey Clanton, and I think maybe the 71 of Mike Bliss that may have precipitated this. A lot of damage there to Colin Brown's truck. Tough break.
Slow it down.
For that young driver.
Man. at all the oil on the side of that truck, Phil.
Yeah. There's Terry Cook. What a great run he had going tonight. He is damaged possibly beyond repair.
Now Clanton.
Joey Clanton also involved.
It looked like there was contact between the 09 of Joey Clanton and I'm thinking maybe the 71 of Mike Bliss.
Get it up. Get right side tires on it at least.
It looked like Bliss was minding his own business, though, so I can't really figure out just from a glance what happened. We'll get a better look at it in a
There's
second.
Terry Cook getting out of his truck, fortunately. They're going to try to make some repairs on that Zaxby's Ford. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened now. Watch that yellow truck in the middle. There's Mike Bliss on the bottom. The yellow truck looked like he just darted down a little bit, maybe lost control of that truck for a little bit. It darted to the inside, caught Mike Bliss, that 71 truck, in a right rear corner.
And it looked like Bliss, at the same time, it was another one of those driving situations where one was coming up, the other was coming down at the same time.
See if we can look at.
Again, you were talking about him being 3 wide right away. You see Mike, looked like Mike Bliss was holding his line that time, Michael.
And it looked like Clanton got a little bit loose. The truck then darted to the inside and hung into the right rear of Bliss and turned him up the hill.
Rick Crawford did another nice job avoiding that. Looked like something came off one of those trucks, though, and hit his truck on the right side.
Johnny Benson also a great save in that number 23, the red truck, just behind the 9 here.
Ooh, look at the 9 of Justin Marks get through there, and JB locking the brakes up to keep him running in the back of Colin Brown.
There the 14 and the 33 also making their way down on the inside of the racetrack, and here very close call.
There's going to be a good close-up view of it. You see Mike Bliss on the bottom now. He's going to come off the yellow line a little bit, but watch that 09 truck. Look, watch and see if that truck doesn't kind of dart left.
Right there. It sure did, Phil.
He just got loose, Phil, and it went down the inside. And you know what I talked about before the race started, Rick? Let's see what Clayton sees.
3 wide still.
Oh, he just...
Still 3 wide.
You know, I talked about before the race.
How
these
bad
guys,
is it, buddy? 71 lost it, put us up in the wall.
Well,
that's his perspective.
Yeah, probably not exactly what happened, but
but remember before the race, the guys were all confident about how their trucks drove all through practice yesterday. See how. I'm shocked we made it this far. I love the job these guys are doing, but I just can't explain how difficult this is, Phil. All these trucks are trying to crash.
Colin Brown now has the nose. Oh, there it goes. Problems behind him, and this will end the race. Who's in front?
The caution isn't out yet. This is all behind the pack. Maybe the caution hasn't flown. No caution.
They still haven't thrown the caution. Kyle Busch is in front of Todd Bodine. Colin Brown hung out on the outside. Can he get help from TJ Bell in time? Coming out of turn number 4. Now Todd Bodine moves to the outside. Bodine makes the run. They go through the tri-oval. Can Kyle Busch get to him? Here Todd Bodine and Kyle Busch. It's Todd Bodine at the line. He'll win again. Busch on his inside. He's got Johnny Sauter on his outside, and they continue 3-1.
Oh, we got a crash in the tri-oval. James Busher got turned. Big crash.
Oh, and now coming up behind him, we've got quite a few more trucks that are moving into the smoke and can't see where they're going.
Johnny
Benson, one of those trucks.
Ricky Carmichael got hit. That was just a situation where Busher had gotten touched in the left rear quarter panel. I was watching this develop.
Yeah, that's Johnny Benson saying, sorry, fellas, we're done.
James Busher was running second when they crossed the start-finish line to Ron Hornaday.
And I think he and...
There's James Busher right there and Johnny Sauter.
To Busher. Todd Bodine, I think.
Yeah, James is on the outside of the 33 of Hornaday. And looks like Todd drifts up the hill, gets into him a little bit, turns him sideways.
James was perfect. He was up beside Hornaday racing for the lead, and Todd just, and you know, we talked about how difficult it is to race a truck through the tri-oval. Todd couldn't get his truck turned, and he got into the left rear of Busher.
They call it a straightaway, but it's really not. It's an 18-degree banked turn.
There goes Johnny.
Johnny was trying to make his way back to the pits, and then obviously had an oil line or something ruptured, and that caught fire for a moment. He just turned her down on the grass. Here's another view here. There's a contact right there. Watch this now.
What if you're James Busher, 18 years old, racing for the lead at Daytona, and get taken out by a veteran? That's got to make you scratch your head. He's the one that's supposed to make the mistake. But that just goes to show again how difficult it is to get through this trial.
30s with you on your bumper, 30s with you.
We're talking about 3 feet. Todd drifted up about 3 feet, and that's when he made the contact with James Busher. James was trying to side draft off of Ron Hornaday.
4 on your bumper, big start here.
Oh, man, Ricky Carmichael.
Behind you here, big time.
Just barely.
And Todd just drives away.
Take a look at Johnny's on board.
Kyle Busch on the inside, the Miccosukee Toyota.
Middle. Spin in front of you, easy back. Go, go, go. Keep going.
Ooh, didn't quite make it. Took the back end off of Ricky Carmichael's truck.
You see that truck of Kyle Busch? He just worked his way right through that baby. Not a scratch on it. Down on the inside.
You heard Johnny Benson's spotter say, big wreck in front of you, ease it up, and then go, 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 knowing that he had guys behind him that were probably going to run into him.
Yeah, tried to get by that incident, just unfortunately made contact with Ricky Carmichael.
That's obviously not the case right now. Still 4 remaining, but Bodine trying to make his move to the outside, and we have trouble on the back straightaway.
Problems for the 14 and the 5. Now they all bottle up behind them. The 16's into the wall. Hornaday, your championship leader, is into the wall. A lot of damage on the back stretch. Oh, and Max Pappas gets into the 5 of Mike Skinner as they're slowing down the backstretch.
Wow.
Johnny Sauter was trying to get back in line in the middle. There was some contact made.
What happened off turn 2 was Bodine got a bump draft off of turn 2. That's a good chunk out of it. Now it's reasonable to think maybe you could catch him.
This is our problem.
Watch right of your screen. Johnny Sauter in the 13 gets into the quarter panel of Mike Skinner.
Look at Crafton slide by barely on the outside. Colin Brown barely through the hole.
Ooh, look at Rick Crawford's rear end lift up off the ground.
Ricky Carmichael takes a spin. A little bit of damage on that truck.
Timothy Peters involved.
Timothy Peters, our winner from last week, crashed this week.
So look at him coming straight at you down the backstretch.
It looked like the 30 of Todd Bodine and Skinner washed up to the high side, and they wanted to get back over there to the inside. And when Skinner went to the inside, what?
Max Pappas just running into the side of that 5 truck.
There's another, you can see right there, Johnny Sauter got bumped around. Then he got into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike got into the 14 of Rick Crawford. Chad McCumbee comes along, he's involved. Brian Scott, there's the 16 truck, the 33 of Hornaday. Looks like James Busher, very little damage. And then here comes Max along. Here's real time.
Most of these crashes happen on the straightaway, it seems, Phil.
And it's amazing. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it does.
People scrambling to try to get back in line. It looked like Skinner was trying to get over toward that bottom line. And Sauter was determined to stay in that hole.
Ron Harday's Copart Chevrolet right there, along with him.
In Johnny Sauter's defense, we're talking 2 or 3 laps to go. He backs off the gas right there. You know, obviously, watch.
See Skinner, he's on the outside. He was trying to pull back over in line behind Todd, and Johnny had tried to close that hole up, tried to take that hole from him.
Take another look. This is real time.
That's just, I mean, it's really difficult to assess exactly who to blame that on. I mean, Skinner was trying to pull over a little bit. Johnny was in there a little bit. They got together and it caused a big crash.
On the backstretch, Elliott Sadler leading the outside line. Here comes Ricky Carmichael behind him. Now they fan out 3 wide as they get into 3.
Wow, those trucks are
trouble already. On Austin Dillon in it, as well as Johnny Sauter. The 18 of Kyle Busch is also involved.
98. Oh, look at this truck. The 10.
Jennifer Jo Cobb also involved. A big accident getting into turn number 3. Landon Castle in the 98 also with damage.
Justin Lofton, the 7. There's the 15 of Ted Musgrave.
Huge crash.
Trying to get into turn number 3. You see the damage of the Bass Pro Shop Chevy Silverado. Austin Dillon driving that truck.
First of all, they're 3 wide. They get 3 wide here on the back straightaway. You can see the 51 truck.
The 55
gets a run on Austin Dillon. Austin starts to kind of come over a little bit to block him.
They touch, and then Austin starts wiggling, and then he catches Johnny Sauter up against the wall. Kyle Busch comes along. The 15 of Ted Musgrave with nowhere to go. The 98 of Landon Castle runs into his teammate Johnny Sauter.
That was just tight racing. 3 wide on the first darn lap.
See right there, you see the 3 start wiggling, and then he's going to lose control. His left front tire was locked up.
Series champion.
Look at Kyle Busch all up in the middle of it. Does a great job of surviving it. Too bad for Landon Castle. Just came along a little bit late. And here's Jennifer Joe. She's going a little bit faster, but darn, you can't see, Phil.
Yeah, this is the view I like right now, where you're going to see Eric Almirola will pull out. He's going to be side by side with Austin Dillon. Austin kind of creeps over a little bit, and they touch, and it gets Austin to wiggling, and he just gets behind in his steering a little bit, and then the thing heads towards the outside wall, takes Johnny Sauter with him.
You know, when I talk to my young drivers or anybody talks about Daytona, you don't ever want to get surprised. You got to constantly be looking in your mirror, looking around all around you so that nothing surprises you. When a truck sneaks 3 wide on you on the back straightaway, if it surprises you, it can cause a problem. I don't know that Austin was surprised, but it almost seemed like he just got in a bind there and couldn't get out of it.
Let's get another vantage point of this. This is after Austin has already got up into the wall.
Rick Crawford just narrowly avoids it in the 14 Lilly Trucking.
Hit the outside wall pretty hard.
Yeah. After he already made contact. There's Nelson Piquet Jr. getting by, doing a nice job with no damage with that Red Horse truck.
2 trucks involved from Thor Sport Racing. Johnny Sauter as well as Landon Castle. Here we ride along with Rick Crawford.
3 wide ahead of you.
Wow, look at Rick. He's just digging.
Nice job by Rick Crawford.
This is Kyle's vantage point.
He's all up in the middle of it.
I'm trying to move here. Check it right in front of you.
Kyle had a huge run and was trying to go to that high side. Skinner.
You know, you ask why he's out there? Because he's got corporate sponsors on the side of that truck. And also, he'd like to think...
Oh, Hornaday's in the wall.
Hornaday into the wall in the backstretch. Now Ricky Carmichael also in the 4, spinning. The 51 of Eric Almirola caught up in this. There's Johnny Benson in the 95 trying to avoid.
What a job by Nelson Piquet Jr. too, Phil. All
Second time he's done a great job. Look at the damage to our champion, Ron Hornaday.
There's the 15 of Ted Musgrave.
Both the Billy Blues trucks, the 15 and the 51, tore up in this crash. There's the 51.
Unbelievable. There's Donnie Leah. We talked about him. What a great run he had going early.
Same place the last wreck occurred.
81 of Dennis.
Watch Hornaday now.
He's the first guy I saw get out of whack.
He's side by side with Skinner.
Oh, is he going to get a bump draft from Ricky Carmichael?
They get a bump draft from Ricky Carmichael, and it may turn him.
No, I think he had a flat.
I think he had a flat tire. I don't think Ricky Carmichael ever touched him.
No, it looked like that's what it was setting up to be, but Hornaday just veered to the right. I was going down the back straightaway the other day in my cup car and blew a left rear tire, and it just drove right to the infield. He might have blown a right rear tire, and it pulled him right into the outside wall. You know, so much...
Watch, we're going to see before Ricky Carmichael gets there, that 33 truck's going to veer to the right.
It's hard to tell from that angle.
It's pretty close.
But I think from the other angle, it didn't look like Hornaday ever, or excuse me, Ricky ever touched him. See if we can get a better look at that. Look at Neil. That's an amazing job Nelson Piquet did there.
Just keep an eye on it now. Boy, it almost looked from that angle like there might have been a slight contact.
If we could look back at that first one and really see, it looked like from the first look we saw from it, Ricky didn't hit him. You can see the right rear tire's down on Ron's truck right there. I think...
Riding along with Elliott Sadler.
Keep coming on the bottom, keep coming low, 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 keep coming low.
Nelson Piquet slipping by there. That's an amazing job that young man did.
Good job.
Ryan Sieg getting by as well.
Here's Crawford's view.
Well, just right in front of him. Through the grass.
Really nice. Hold it straight. Hold it straight. Back up.
Again, coming right at us.
Well, I'm telling you, from that angle, it almost looks like there was a little bit of contact, and that got right wiggling.
Let's look at what we saw the first time.
Yeah, this is from the blimp. Let's look one more time to see if there was any contact. Again, we're looking at the 4 and the 33.
He's going to pull up on him for sure.
I don't think so, Phil.
Boy, if there was contact, it was oh so slight.
Well, and I just think I think Ron had a flat tire. I really do.
It looks like right when the 4 gets to the back bumper of that truck, it starts to move to the right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so close.
Adam Alexander.
And it's always tough to judge.
Trying to hang on.
Remember, he pushed Kyle Busch to the win here last year. Kyle Busch was in the truck he's driving. Oh, there they go.
Hornaday goes around. The rain cart the can almost upside down, and he does go on his hood as Ron Hornaday.
There just wasn't any way.
Hornaday rolls again in turn number 1.
You said it, Michael.
That started too soon, Phil. They were doing that for 25 laps.
See Ron moving around inside of that truck.
Trying to get free from the 33. You see the movement.
I'm sure NASCAR will red flag this race here.
Talk to us, Ron.
Safety crews immediately to him.
Here comes Todd Bodine to check on Ron.
He clicked the bike. He's all right.
Feel good. I saw him moving around in there.
You saw Todd Bodine run up to the side of the 33 truck. Competitors and very good friends.
What about this sport? Last week he celebrated in victory lane. This week he's on his roof with just a couple of laps to go. Around all over the place and see what caused this to start.
Looked like the Todd got pushed by the 95 of Grant Enfinger, and it turned him into the truck on the inside of him. And then you see Ron Hornaday going upside down.
Grant was just doing what he saw there. Ooh, wow, look at that hit late by Todd. Grant was just doing what he'd seen everyone else do. A rookie at this first start.
Now, watch the red truck. He's going to push Todd Bodine, and it's going to turn Todd sideways right there into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike gets into the 33 of Hornaday.
Just too big of a push. Look at the job that Matt Crafton does, sneaking around the outside.
And when these trucks get backwards, obviously we talked earlier about the spoiler being at 65 degrees. When they go backwards, it lifts that back into that truck of Hornaday up and onto its top it goes.
Plus he was not only backwards, he's getting pushed by Mike Skinner too, so I'm sure that helped ramp that truck up in the air. But as you see the trucks going out of the screen to the left,